can all of you type in your GitHub name, username, and in the chats, and I'll start adding you guys as collaborators to the GitHub that I posted. And then you can commit and pull. So yeah. Okay, great. So dance. Share screen. Okay, so Darren's email. Okay. Oh, so let me add your username, Darren. Could not find. Okay, that's probably not your username.
Did you just try my email?
Yeah, I tried your email, so you got that already. Yeah.
Okay.
Shamsuddin. Rashad. All right. Rashad, I like your profile picture. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the movie.
What movie is that?
It's called The Watchmen.
Watchmen.
He's called Dr. Manhattan. I'm probably slightly, yeah. He had a sort of like a physics experiment and became like a super brain.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near that, but yeah.
Got it. Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so I want to just so make sure when you commit your notebooks, make sure you name the notebook with your name, and like try not to submit your virtual environment. I didn't create a git ignore. I probably should, and I'll probably do that. And but also you can probably do that yourself. And I'll try to create a README. So yeah, and yeah, just don't commit, the unnecessary files that are really big, such as your virtual environment. So make sure you do that and name your notebook with, after your name, and also of course, the title of the competition, but name your put your name or your initials, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's that. We got that done. Great. So let's, anyone wants to talk about what they've done, or share what they've done, and I'll allow screen share.
Not much. I tried calculating the Jacquard similarity that I was talking about last time. I can
Okay.
share that quickly.
Okay.
It's not
Feel
much.
free to
Actually.
do that. Yep.
So I hope you can see my screen. So what I did here is I just copied the Jacquard function that was given in the evaluation part of the competition. So
Mm-hmm.
this is just a similarity measure between two strings. It splits the strings into words and then sees how common the two sets are. So this is the evaluation metric of the competition to see what span you're able to extract. So here I used it for looking at the similarity, the Jacquard score between the text and the selected text. So that becomes a column, and if the whole text happens to be, just a minute. So the whole text is the same as the selected text, your Jacquard score would be 1. And so what I wanted to try here is to see the average Jacquard score for each sentiment. So for neutral, as we were talking about last time, the Jacquard score is 0.97, pretty close to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So for neutral sentiments, you could just predict, you could just submit the same text as your selected text and you would still get a good score. Yep, that's all I have.
Cool. Anyone else?
And I was looking at, just a minute, yeah. I was looking at the different ways of approaching this competition. So like one way is to do it as a question answering task, and some other people have done it as an NER task as well. So yeah, I'm not sure if there is any non-deep learning approach to start off with. Yeah, so if anyone has any idea of any other approaches to tackle this competition, that would be good to know. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking a baseline could be a more traditional entity approach. Conditional random, what is it, CRF?
Fields.
Conditional random fields or something like that?
How does that actually work?
Or customized spacey as a baseline, that's all.
So in terms of spacey, then, what would you would change it to NER module? Is that what you were thinking? I'm not.
I don't know if you do it. I just know that spacey you can train an entity extractor.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I mean, if you're interested in learning that anyway, it's not a bad baseline. I might do that. I might not. I don't know.
I suppose you could use some sort of a decision tree type but you'd have to have two different decision trees. There's one which shows the start of the extraction and one which shows the end. And then add a random forest of those and as paired in some way.
I mean, can you explain that a little more? Is that a classification problem or what are you doing there?
Well, it is, yes. So if we assume that the input words are of a certain length, then you're classifying what is the start for one decision tree and what is the end for the other decision tree.
So what would be good features for that, do you think?
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of somehow using word vectors in some way as the input so that it could, something like the globe word vectors, but I haven't really thought through it. To be honest with you, my first approach was just going to be to use transformers like you were saying, question answering, and yeah, and treat it like a question answering the problem, because question answering models already exist where they give you the extract the subtext within the original question. So like the model's already there, you just have to train it and see what it does. But yeah, I haven't really thought about what the features would be for the decision tree, but I thought that would be something a little bit left field you could do. Yeah, but to be honest, I've not done a lot on it. I've been busy at work and setting up my GPU machine so I can actually use the GPU. Unfortunately, my main machine is a MacBook and I can't run anything really heavy on that. But I have got a Linux machine with a 1080 Ti, which I can play with.
Wait, can you share what your machine is? Because I'm quite interested in that. Like, what is it that you bought, and how fast is it? Like, in terms of the GPU types.
Yeah, so my machine is about a year old. And so it's got, in terms of spec, I don't know if I can show you. I mean, what's the easiest way to show it? Because
do you know the specs? Can we just share a screen and just do a Google search? What is it?
yeah, I think I might even have PC part picker. I don't know if you guys can see part picker, because I remember I had a part that PC part picker. Login. Does he remember me? I'll share them. I'm not a robot. We'll sign in. And then saved part lists. Okay, so it's an 6850, a liquid cooler, 64 gigabytes of RAM, 3 terabyte hard drive, SSD, 1080 Ti, case. Yeah, this is it. I was trying to remember what I bought. I think the only difference is yeah, this is it. Actually, let me just double check the RAM on my machine. So SSH hydro on the top, because I think it might have 32 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, so I slightly lowered the RAM to 32 gigabytes. But other than that, it's this spec. So I didn't go for a top of the range processor, but it's a pretty good processor. It's a 6-core. Liquid cooler for the CPU, just for fun. A reasonably good Asus motherboard. As I say, 32 gigabytes of RAM rather than 64 gigabytes. A reasonable sized hard drive, that's the normal type, and then an SSD for the operating system. A 1080 Ti, the Founders Edition one. That was the best one I could get at that time. A nice case, which has got good air circulation, a good power supply, which can power all of the quite demanding, like the graphics card and the CPU. And
which one is the GPU?
Sorry?
Which one is the GPU?
The GPU is this guy, the 1080 Ti.
Got it. Okay.
I think just now the 3080 Ti is out, but I don't know what the performance difference is. I must confess I'm a little bit out of touch, but this was like the best about year and a half ago when I bought my machine.
And is there any way we can check, like, with this, like, what is a spec that says, what is a specific spec that would be related to deep learning training? Like a spec that would say, okay, we have this spec and just tells you how fast you can train.
Well, I mean, it's all to do with the cores, with the CUDA cores, although I think the 3080 might have some tensor cores as well. The one that I have, I don't think has 3080 Ti specs. What have we got?
There's a benchmarking website called aibenchmark.com. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah. But it's got lots of great information about comparing the different GPUs.
Okay.
AI-benchmark.com.
AI-benchmark. Okay. And then, okay, ranking. Right, what have we got here? So it's a Xiaomi. Ooh.
Xiaomi, that's a Chinese tech
So
company.
these are mobiles, it looks like. Because
Yeah, so
this is
over there on the right, desktop GPUs and CPUs.
oh, okay, desktop CPUs and CPUs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Tesla yeah, those are a bit expensive. And then the Titan, they're still a bit expensive. The 2080 Ti was the next generation. So is that the score?
Yeah, I don't think they have the 3080 benchmarked yet.
So all scores. So the 2080 Ti, 20.
So yeah, so they've got this inference score column and a training score column over on the right.
Yeah, so 32 overall score, AI score is 32 for that, and the 1080 Ti is probably way down here.
So Tesla got the best ones.
Yeah, unfortunately, those are like
Do
so
they sell those, Tesla?
whoops, sorry. I was just checking 1080 Ti. Give 1 second. So that's 24. Actually, 24 over 32. Actually, mostly from 32 over 24. Yeah, it's about 30% faster with the 2080 Ti. Yeah, the Tesla, I mean, you're looking at good, I don't even know what they are, might be 6-7 grand. So what's the price on those?
Yeah, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah, unfortunately, NVIDIA really screw over the AI guys. You're better off buying the graphics, $10,000.
Wow.
Whereas the 3080 Ti should be reasonably priced. I think it's because it was so high in demand, it might have gone out of stock. Oops, the NVIDIA 3080 Ti price.
There, and I think there's a 3090.
Yeah,
that's even higher. They came out with a new level.
Yeah, it's probably going to be about $1,000, I reckon, because that tends to be the top end gaming cards are about that much, and they're the best for like kind of hobbyist AI use, to be honest. The other Tesla guys, you will get a higher performance, but they're not like double or triple. It'll probably be like 30-40%, but you're paying like 10 times more. But there are people who are prepared to pay that kind of money, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm not really used my machine that much. I'm quite looking forward to actually doing something with it because I bought it originally for some reinforcement learning, but then that didn't really happen.
And what's the cost, like of buying, I mean, comparing the cost of buying your own GPU versus renting it, let's say from SageMaker, or just directly using, cloud GPUs. What's the economics of that comparison?
It's hard to compare because if you want a GPU on demand, then that's going to be quite expensive. But if you're prepared to pay, wait, have a spot, AWS has got these different tiers, doesn't it? It has on demand, which is I want a GPU and I want it now. That's quite expensive, and you could easily run up $1,000 within a couple of months. Whereas the spot price is actually could be 75-80% of that. So long as you're prepared to say, yeah, I'll let this happen whenever in the next month, then you probably for a couple of $1,000, you could have a lot of AI training time. But I don't know if there's a calculator that would help you work that out. I did look at it, and to be honest with you, it probably would have been better for me to just go for AWS and use a spot because this 1080 Ti has been depreciating like mad, and I haven't really used it that much. Whereas at least with AWS, it would have been I paid for what I used, rather than it just sitting there. And plus, I'm not a gamer. I mean, if you're a gamer, then you kill two birds with one stone. Basically, you get a good graphics card, and you can use it for AI when you're not gaming.
Right. So the depreciation on these graphic cards are pretty high, I guess.
Yeah, within a year, it'll probably be 70-80% lost in value, I would reckon. Probably mine's worth a couple $100. So if I do eBay 1080 Ti, I reckon it'll be quite cheap. Mind you, 350 quid, which is about a third of what I paid for it.
Wow. It's even more than car depreciation.
Yeah.
Any hardware, I guess, depreciates fast.
Yeah, it's just the constant new generations being added.
Yeah.
But this will last me a couple of years, so long as I don't, overuse it. Because obviously the thermals in my machine are not fantastic, and these things overheat. So you got to be like careful with like how you use it.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Arshad.
Okay. So hopefully next week I might have something to show, having used it. But at the moment, it's all a bit theoretical.
Yeah, awesome, cool. So, and anyone else wants to share something regarding what they did, and before we kind of just do it, and perhaps we could leave more time for discussion at the end if no one wants to share now.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So the answers, the sentiments, they have to be continuous spans, right? They cannot be words like with missing words in between, or.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a Jacquard, right? So just try to beat the Jacquard. Doesn't have to be in order at all.
No, but the right answer has to be.
I mean, the metric is the metric. Was there some other rule?
So, I mean,
But is it true that all of the gold labels are adjacent, are contiguous? I would assume so, but I don't know.
They say words or phrases, so I'm kind of assuming they're contiguous. Yeah. But you're right. Like the answer doesn't have to be like. It's just you may not get the score.
Well, right. I mean, look, for the task to be useful for anything in existence, there probably needs to be, a real phrase, right? Contiguous. But in order for these competitions, I mean, it's just scoring on the Jacquard. There's no hidden metric, right?
Right.
And Yuri, why were you asking? What were those? Did you have some sort of ideas that might
Oh yeah,
work?
yeah. So like, I don't know. I haven't looked at what people did, but I thought one way of solving this problem would be to actually run sentiment analysis, and then I think there are like a bunch of tools now that tells you they do interpretability. I think you can also do it with.
Dude, this is exactly what I was thinking. Explainability. There's a couple of explainability frameworks. I was thinking the same fucking thing, because I don't think anyone's done that, because those explainability frameworks are pretty new. So if you had a really accurate sentiment classifier, then you could totally use the explainability, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think also with BERT you can probably just like even like do it yourself. Like have some of like some of weights or
look at the attention scores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like at least like from the pictures they don't have to be contiguous, like because it's so that's why it was one cool. But yeah, that's why I was asking this question. So they don't have to be contiguous, but yeah, they can. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I have looked at some of the rows in the selected text column. So they basically were contiguous. Maybe this is because, as Gautam was saying in the last call, they were manually extracted, right? So maybe because of that, those were maybe contiguous. But when it comes to the scoring, the contiguous span won't make a difference, right? So even I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think it's just, when you need to use this model for practical purposes, you need this to be contiguous. But instead of Whereas, you know, for competition purposes, I guess that Jacquard score doesn't take into account of the order of the words. Okay. All right. So why don't we spend the next 45 minutes just to code, and we can discuss at 12:15. So 45 minutes later, and we can talk more. All right. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, it's 12:15. How's everyone doing? Everyone's doing good? Playing around with it? Okay.
I did something just very basic, PyTorch dataset to load the sentiment data in.
Sorry, you said PyTorch?
Yeah, I'm going to use PyTorch.
Got it. Cool. Cool. Awesome. And what models do you have in mind from PyTorch? Does PyTorch have good, I mean, I don't know, like NLP models built in?
Well, not built in because it's just a neural network kind of way to build models, but there's pre-trained BERT, which was my first approach, which is from Hugging Face. So they've got a PyTorch pre-trained model, which I was going to use.
Hugging Face is built on PyTorch?
Sorry?
Is Hugging Face built on PyTorch?
No, they do both TensorFlow and PyTorch now.
Got it.
Yeah, so you don't have to use either. They support both.
I just saw Allen NLP is built on PyTorch. Okay, good to know.
A lot of the kind of research type stuff seems to be PyTorch. Some people complain that it's not great in prod, but I think they're trying to address it that you can export the models to Onyx format and then actually run them on TensorFlow server.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah. I haven't seen many people using Fast AI for NLP tasks. Anyone? I've done some NLP through the class, but not necessarily for my own projects. But I know their transfer learning for NLP is pretty good when it comes to language model. So, yeah.
Okay, I haven't really looked at it because I didn't see anything really but I don't know if they've added some new stuff. I looked at the book that Jeremy read.
I just got a new book
about that, but
yeah, I just got the book as well. It's a very, very interesting book, and of course, most of the stuff I've already gone through from the class, but literally, it has a lot of exercises that, of course, the class itself didn't have, and but yeah, it's very interesting stuff. Cool. Anyone else?
Which book is that?
It's the let me just share a screen. It's the
deep learning for coders, I guess.
Yeah. So it's this one. It just came out. Yeah. So let me just show you guys what it is. I think the most valuable lessons I've ever learned from Fast AI is transfer learning and how to build deep learning libraries. And that's something that I've never seen from other tutorials. Yeah, so that's that. So and you can see from here, like under the hood, you know, the computer vision problems, collaborated filtering. Yeah, and also tabular modeling with deep learning. That's also something that's Fast AI also tries to do. And deep dive, convolution neural networks. Yeah, I think that the most valuable part is Fast AI learning from scratch. And a deep learning from scratch. This is what I've learned. I mean, this is pretty much the part 2 of the class, and literally you built everything from scratch on the basis of PyTorch. So, which is pretty helpful when you need to build your own stuff. And yeah, I mean, the other stuff you can probably get from other tutorials, but like, you know, models from scratch are really, what FastAI has, and also how they do transfer learning. That's also very, very helpful. Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, that's the thing, because their model performance literally some of the best, right? So they found way empirically through loads of tests and practices, and they found a way to build a very high level API on top of PyTorch, so that people don't even have to spend that much time fine tuning, building your models. You can literally just write a couple lines of code and be the best when it comes to your performance, 90% plus when it comes to image classification. So.
Cool, thanks.
Anyone else, back to the competition, anyone else wants to share their notebooks, what they've done in the past 45 minutes?
Yeah, so I have rather a question. I was just trying somebody else kernel. I'll show you my screen, and then
Sounds good. Sure.
If somebody
away.
has, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the.
We're not seeing that.
What do you see?
Nothing.
Okay. What's happening? What's going on?
You probably shared a whiteboard, maybe?
No, it says two. I am sharing it.
Yeah, there's what, like, you can actually share a whiteboard or something. I don't know. But like, we're not seeing anything right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do it again. Share screen, and I said desktop 2, but it's.
There you go. Now we're seeing.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just copied somebody's kernel. Okay. And I just actually I think last week Gautam mentioned this as well. So it's quite a nice kernel if somebody wants to go through it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty sentiment extraction dash analysis EDA and model. When you go in the notebooks, you'll find on the top of it. Anyway, so question I have is the submission. So let's say if I ran it through all the way and it worked very well. So the last cell he has is here as submission.csv. Now, is this like, do I need to save this somewhere? Like, I know if I create a manually, I can upload it, but I'm looking through a kernel. And what happens is, like, I think in here, not here, you go in the competition. I'm going to leave editor. And when I go to the competition itself, I see this guy here, and it says submit to competition. Okay. And when I go submit to competition, it look for my notebook, which version. So I have version 1, 2, and 3. I don't see an output file here. However,
yeah, you need to like save and commit your notebook.
I did.
There are like two versions to do it. One is like quick save, and other is the other one. You want the other one.
I just let's say if I do edit, I just went to save. Is that what I need to do, or do I need to do something else?
Well, click on save. It should give you like a two. If you click on save.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick the second one.
Okay.
And that basically, yeah, that generates that file. The other way, file is generated while you're working on it, but when you stop editing, it disappears.
Yeah. Okay. So in a sense, Okay, I got it. I'll do next time if I run. However, let's say if I'm in here, I created that data frame and submission.csv file got generated. So obviously I need to save this CSV file.
It's saved. If you go to the right into output Kaggle working directory, and you open it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not there now because you haven't run it like since you started editing it. But if you run it and without saving it, file should appear there.
Yeah.
But if you don't commit it, like, and you stop editing, it would disappear. It will disappear.
I was looking in here. I was refreshing it as well. Like this kernel actually saves the models as well. So I could see the models saving here. I could see the model positive coming in and then model negative coming in, which is these cells, like where it saves. But this file, I ran this, I didn't see file saving in here. I couldn't see it. That's hence the question. So if I'm missing anything.
Did you?
Well, try submitting it. I know like that helped me.
We can do quickly actually.
Oh, there is. You know what? Oh, sorry. There is one more line I saw somewhere. Let me see. Just a second.
Yeah, because we are not.
You might need to change directories, but.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't see here mentioning the directory whatsoever. Yeah, that's exactly what my thought is. We are saying it to CSV, but we haven't said where to save it.
It's probably on the top.
Create a cell and do PWD to see where you are. It should be the default, which is the submission, the output.
Kaggle working. Yes, it's not.
Yeah.
So you're already in.
Yeah, you're in it, dude. You're in that. It starts like that. It's default.
Okay, and then underneath it should create underneath. Okay, I'll give it another go and then see if it saves there. If not, then as you said, I will save it with the save and run all commit.
Yeah.
Maybe
because the run now would just go through all the cells, right? Then it will commit to that.
Yeah, I did run step by step. I went through step by step, and then in the end, I just said quick save rather than save and run all commit. So that's the confusion. Anyway, so.
Yeah, so I posted one. So you're supposed to be in the working directory, but there's a way to like set it explicitly with change OS change directory, and I added that line. I don't know if that would help me or not.
Okay, have you?
Yeah, I posted it in the chat.
Chat in the chat. Okay, my chat window is.
I think you can also, like in other notebooks, put a exclamation mark and then run any command line command as well. Although using OS is better in that circumstance, but.
Yeah, but then yes, you can do the command line, but over here we need to save somehow in here, and so that it appears when we do the submit.
It will. It'll appear.
Yeah, and the other note I want to make is when you commit your notebooks, I think it's probably a good practice to like try to make the file paths or your data paths easily at least understandable, or if not replicable, like, you know, just so when someone runs your notebooks, when you commit to the GitHub, you know, feel free to use OS, you know, get current working directory, or joining the paths for the sake of, you know, Windows versus Mac systems. And it's just so that, you know, other people within the call or the group can easily run your notebooks. So
I got a question.
Yeah.
Maybe someone with more experience would know about this in Kaggle. Can't you just share with specific people? So maybe we could share these notebooks create a group? Maybe not, but is there a way for us to share more easily just right here?
I mean, there's literally a share button right on top. I don't know. Literally on the top right, there's a
Yes, you
share
can
button.
share with.
This guy.
Yeah, I mean, the question, so how to share with the whole group, because it would be awesome if we had like a place we could see all each other's notebooks we've shared, other than having to go to Git and then have your own environment.
Yeah, you can just add collaborators there.
Mm-hmm. So I guess there's we can share on that or share on GitHub. For GitHub purposes, I mean, I guess, you know, it's probably good for the long term.
P-L-U-T-C-H-O-K.
Then, say again?
P as in Peter, L-U. There's another Darren, wow.
Is this?
U-U-T-C-H. Okay, so it must be under a username, not your actual name. So, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Okay, it's all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, this particular kernel is quite easy, and he has gone quite a lot of EDA within it, and then he's using a spacey, and he has different ways. I think he's talking. He modeled the NER, named entity model, in this. However, he mentioned that you have a few ideas for this problem. First one he worked on, which is NER, but you can design this problem with a Q&A, and then he has mentioned few resources which is good to go through, just to have a good understanding of what's going on, and how to tackle the problem itself.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, it's probably easier to share on Kaggle if you're doing the Kaggle notebooks. But for people who are just developing locally in Jupyter notebooks, I would say GitHub, it's probably still good to share. So let's just go with GitHub. But of course, if some of you guys are developing on Kaggle, then feel free to do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on Kaggle, when we do this, when we go on a competition, and we create a kernel, isn't that the public kernel? That's the sharing. Let's say, how do I go on competition itself?
Sorry, what's your question?
My question is like about the sharing.
Yeah.
If we go on the competition itself, and if we make our kernel as a public, anybody can access it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can, everyone can access that.
Yeah.
If you make it a public and link it with the competition.
Yeah. But I guess that's only for just to see, not to update.
Well, you can just copy it, you know, and then use it. Anyone copy it and use it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yeah, so this guy, I think maybe this is the guy who I just added and make my own copy as I went ahead.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So anyway, so I think, you know, it's keeping a Git as a copy, it's probably a good practice in the long term when we have multiple, you know, competitions and everyone's notebooks one place, and you can fork it, not fork it. So we'll at least keep that. And of course, feel free to share whatever you want on Kaggle. You know, I think I just saw you can literally grab a link, and so, you know, maybe that's a pretty easy way to do it as well. Okay, so on that note, I want to just conclude this session. Appreciate everyone joining it, and we'll see each other. Hopefully, you know, we'll make more progress. Each of us will.
when the sessions progress and we make more progress, then there's more stuff to share and discuss. Okay, well, on that note, thank you everyone, appreciate it. We'll see you next